I'm out at CCU this beautiful afternoon. I'm throwing to this basket that's off in the distance. It's right around 210 feet. I have a little bit of a tailwind, 8-10 miles per hour tailwind, and I have 4 of probably the most popular approach, overstable approach discs that are out there. I have a 300 A2 from Prodigy, pretty new. It's been used for a couple rounds. I have an Origio Burst Harp from Westside Discs. I have a Dynamic Discs Lucid Justice, which is probably the newer of all 4. And then last but not least, I have a Z Zone that is 171 grams. So I want to kind of go and throw toward this basket that's off in the distance and throw both backhand and forehand shots so you can get an idea of what they look like and kind of how they work. Here again, I am throwing with about an 8 to 10 mile per hour headwind, or excuse me, tailwind. So they should hook up and fade a lot more than usual. Start off with the 300 A2 from Prodigy. My aim point is 30 feet to the right and probably 25, 30 feet up in the air. Okay, I pulled it way wide and didn't get it nowhere near as high, but you can see it came in, it dug in pretty hard. Here's the Origio Harp, and what you'll notice immediately about the Harp is the A2 is probably the most overstable of all of them. The Harp is going to have a little bit more glide, not quite as much speed, but a little bit more glide, and the Harp is not going to fade as much. Especially when I throw it 2 feet off the ground. Don't worry, I'll throw them again. Here we have the Zone. Not quite as overstable as the A2, a little bit more glide, a little bit better plastic. And I don't think I could have filmed that any better. Hit the cage, bounced up, flew over. Now we have the Lucid Justice. This one is the fastest of all of them, but also one of the most overstable. That thing is really, really beefy. And you can see when it hits the ground, it just kind of hits and stops. All right, I'm gonna go grab them, bring them back, and we'll try them forehand. All right, so I went and picked them all up. The premium plastics had more glide, so they actually made it to the basket or beyond. The other plastics, while they came in a little short, the Harp, believe it or not, was the shortest of all of them, and that's pretty typical from what I generally see. It has like 0 glide. It doesn't even want to stay in the air. But now I'm gonna try forehands. I'm gonna begin with the 300 A2. A little preface about my forehand, and you'll see it in the video. It's serviceable, it gets me out of jams. I am not a forehand dominant player, nor am I really good at forehands, but we'll try. Aim point is about 20 feet left, halfway up that tree. So hopefully almost like a spike hyzer. You'll notice with the A2, it kind of hits the ground, digs in, it doesn't skip or anything like that. Here I have next the Westside Harp. This one is really, really deep. So if you like a really deep disc to do forehands, it's gonna be perfect for you. I feel like I can get it out with more speed because it's deeper. I can really grip into it really hard and throw it and snap my fingers. That one made it to the basket. And again, just like the A2, it kind of hits, digs in, rolls out. It doesn't have a lot of skip or anything. Next, I have the Z Zone. This one is a little shallow. Again, if you like shallow for your forehands, this is gonna be perfect. I prefer shallow. Oh, I let it go early, but you can see its flight. Yeah, that's my forehand. And last but not least, the Lucid Justice. This one is really beefy. And it doesn't want to fly. Even on a backhand or on a forehand, it just doesn't want to fly. It wants to get to the ground. If you start it on a teeny bit of hyzer, it will go vertical. All right, so what kind of overstable approach disc comparison video would it be if I weren't throwing into a headwind? The basket off in the distance, I don't know if you can see it or not, but kind of right in about the there range. There's one over here, but we're going to the one there on the left, is ballparking around 150 feet away. And I want to throw these 4 approach discs. I'm going to throw them on a backhand through the 2 trees, through the upright, to see if I can get them to field goal and kind of hook in. And right now we're facing about probably a 10 to 12 mile per hour headwind. It's a direct headwind into where I'm throwing. So again, I'm going to start in the same order with the 300 A2. My aim point is literally directly between those 2 trees, up 20, 25 feet in the air. Field goal, and it kind of hits, digs in. That's what I like to see about these approach discs. Here we have the Westside Discs Harp, and again, just like a while ago, the backhand on this doesn't feel good at all, at least not for me. So I'm going to throw this one forehand around the outside, because to me the forehand feels amazing with this particular disc. Into the headwind, it flips up to flat, but never turns over, and has a ton of glide. That went 20 feet long. Wow. Here we have the Zone. Same shot as the A2. Hooks up, flies in. Little long, but not much. 10, 15 feet long is kind of about what I was expecting. And then I'll do another. I'll do the Justice with a forehand as well. The Justice feels really good. If you've ever felt a lucid Justice, this thing feels gummy. It feels like butter in your hand. I mean, it absolutely is, but it is beef. Like, you've really got to give it some power. I'm going to try to throw it out flat and just watch what happens. That thing dove to the right. Like, I threw it out flat 2 feet left of the basket, and I'm 30 feet right now. That one I should have started 30 feet left. But hopefully you got a chance to see into the wind. The wind seemed to affect the Harp, but the Harp is one of the older, more used discs. The premium plastics, the Lucid, the Z, it didn't really affect them at all. All right, so if you're looking for a good overstable approach disc, and you're looking for something that feels great forehand and backhand, I might recommend the Dynamic Discs Lucid Justice. It's very, very, very overstable, forehand and backhand. If you're predominantly a backhand player, the Zone might be the one to go with. Feels great, doesn't have a ton of stupid stability. It's actually, it will fly. The A2, the 300 A2 from Prodigy, again, very similar. It'll fly. It does have a lot of stability, but it'll fly. If you're a predominantly forehand approach player, you may want to go with the Harp. The Harp is, to me, better on a forehand than a backhand, just because of the depth. And specifically, the Harp has a tendency to be a little less stable than the others. It will flatten out, at least the Origio. The higher end plastics may not do that, but the Origio plastic will at least straighten out. It'll flip up to flat. So any one of them is good, just depends on what you're looking for.